Hi, I'm Zoe Brown. I'm 25 years old and I'm currently a radio presenter at KFM. Ek is sterk tweetalig in beide Engels en Afrikaans, and I'm here today to try something new on Friday the 13th. So if today turns out to be a disaster, I'm screwed because next month we have another Friday the 13th. And don't let the blue dress fool you. I love adventure, I love the outdoors, and I'm as handy with a toolbox and a power drill as I am with a sewing machine.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Sorry for the delay. I think I don't know if I followed the wrong link and then so I'm
Yeah.
so sorry for the delay on my end.
No, I understand, I understand. You're quite a busy person, so I do understand as well.
No worries. Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna get right to it. Firstly,
Okay.
let's talk about your background. Where were you born and raised, and how was the setup at home?
So my background is grew up in Cape Town, then my family relocated to Durban, and I went to an Afrikaans school in Cape Town, and then when we moved to Durban, I was forced to do English for the first time academically. And after high school, I did a gap year in America where I au paired, and that kind of gave me my love for doing things differently. And when I got back to South Africa, I studied at Stellenbosch University and I did international relations. And that's where the idea of what I want my career to be, i.e., go into media, stemmed from. And while I was a student at Stellenbosch, I had to ask myself, well, how can I get into media? And that was through the campus radio station that was at Stellenbosch University. And doing radio graveyard shift, my first show was 3 a.m. till 6 a.m. And that's kind of funny enough where my love for this platform came from.
Yes.
And the more I was doing radio, the more people were like, oh, have you considered doing TV? And I was like, no, I've never. And then I said to myself, well, once I wrap up my degree, I'll try do a TV presenter course, or I'll see if I can get into TV. And that's what I did. I was wrapping up my final year of honors. And that January, I still looked for a TV presenting course. And I found one that was starting quite soon in January. And I was almost missing the cutoff date when I entered it. And I think I did about 1 or 2 lessons when we were only a group of 7.
Yes.
When the one I came to the class and said, listen, I heard there's this new thing called presenter search on 3. They're looking for 3 new presenters. They're looking for a top billing presenter, an Expresso presenter, and at the time they were advertising it as a mystery show presenter for SABC3. Let's all go as a class for fun and audition. So like, okay, let's go and audition. And that's how I ended up on Expresso. I managed to go through the process and then got to be on TV. So that's kind of my background.
Wow. Now talking about the Expresso, since you brought it in.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect. Sorry, your screen went off and I can hear you, but you're frozen, but that's okay.
All right, cool. You spoke about Expresso and how the journey kind of started. When you got that call or that email that you got the job, who was the first person that you told, and how did that change your life? Can you hear me?
Oh, your cell reception is breaking up. Can you just repeat the question?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
All right. I was saying you spoke about Expresso and how the journey kind of started. So when you got that email or that call that you got the job, who was the first person that you told, and how did that change your life?
So the final of presenter search actually happened in Zanzibar, and they chose the top 3 presenters in Zanzibar. So that's when I found out that I won the slot for Expresso, but we were under DNAs, oh no, not yeah, NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, that we weren't allowed to reveal that we had won until the episode aired on TV. The only people I was allowed to tell was my mom and dad. And so I phoned them from Zanzibar on WhatsApp to tell them that I won Expresso. And I'm so happy because that was the one show I really wanted. It fitted in with my schedule. And yeah, so they were the first people I told, and how it changed my life. It definitely changed my life for the better. It opened many doors, and it has exposed me to so many things I never thought I would be exposed to. I think what I love about that platform is it allows me to be me. I'm
Yes.
not playing a character. I'm not, portraying a role. I get to be myself on screen. You get to be honest about things you like, things you don't like. You don't always have to like everything. And I think that for me has been the biggest blessing, that I get to share myself with whoever views the show.
And you spoke about the opportunity that it brought and things that it exposed you to. We're going to go now to Zoe Brown Apparels. How did that come about, and your love for clothes and everything else? And what's the plan around that?
So Zoe Brown Apparel had a very interesting story. So I went through, during lockdown, my own little health transformation, and it was never the intention to lose weight. It was just the intention to focus, a bit of a distraction from everything going on with lockdown. It was for me to just, stay healthy in my limited environment. And it was just something new and exciting to do. And with that, doing small workouts every single day for 5 days, results eventually started to show. And as I was gymming a bit more, I needed new gym clothes because the ones I had was long and it was getting hot, and they weren't fitting anymore. So I went looking for gym shorts that wasn't too short, but also not long. And I couldn't find any that I wanted. And that's kind of where the Zoe Brown Apparel idea started. Was I wanted shorts a certain color and in a certain length, and I couldn't find it in store. And I know that a lot of my friends also were looking for bright, fun colors, because a lot of the clothing you go into store is black or gray or navy. And I think the journey for Zoe Brown Apparel is, I think it's just a passion project for now. I just want people to know that there are gym lengths, like shorts, available for them that's biker size. It's not too short, it's not too long. And I just want people to have fun with color, because whenever you go to the gym, a lot of people, I would say 80% of the women where I go in gym, they aren't experimenting too much with bright colors. And I would love to just let them know that you can find beautiful gym wear that you don't only have to wear to gym, but you can, run your errands in it and just spend your day in it. I mean, I often, not today though, I often come to work in my gym clothes. And I think the broader picture is one day to just grow it bigger, bring out different items, bring out more patterns and colors, and just really see how far it can go.
Nice one, nice one. And you spoke a bit about gym clothes and cycling and everything. You did your first marathon, if I'm not mistaken, just not weeks or months ago. How was that for you, and how did you prepare for that?
So yeah, I never in my wildest dreams thought this year was going to be the year I do the Cape Town cycle tour, as well as run my first marathon.
Yes.
I'm not a cyclist, I'm not a natural runner. But leading up to the marathon, I was part of a group of ladies that was handpicked by Adidas. And we all had our own story and our own journey, but we were all given a coach, and we were all promised that if we follow the program, we will be able to finish that cross that finish line. And that was a 14-week journey of training. And unlike the cycle tour, I was only on the bike 4 times before I did it. On the 5th time was my cycle tour. Running's not something you can do without training. You have to put in the hours. And that's how I prepared myself. And it was quite a beautiful journey. Every girl shared their own story as to why they took on this marathon. And we did it under the hashtag Beyond My Impossible. And Adidas, being the facilitator of bringing us all together, they just showed us that, if you put your mind to something, you can go beyond your own impossible.
Wow. And you touched on COVID and what you were doing at the time. Now, we lost a lot of, you can say, celebrities around that time. How did you manage to keep your mental health in check especially with everything was shut down, and you're not used to that, and probably you lost some of the deals that some brands that you're supposed to collaborate with. So how did you manage to keep your mental health in check?
So I'm a big believer in therapy. I go to a therapist once every 2 weeks.
Yes.
There are moments where I can take a little bit of a gap from my therapist, or there are moments where I have to see her once a week. Once a week. So I think what helped me mentally to stay sane during lockdown was I was still able to have my therapy sessions via Zoom with my therapist. I was able to still come and work at radio. We were seen as an essential to leave my house, and that helped. I did many Zoom calls and phone calls with my parents because I was isolated. They're all still in Durban. And I think just, changing my mindset to not seeing this as a prison sentence, but rather the holiday I would never have again, I began to relax. And I think my faith is something that also carried me through. I'm a believer of God, and I knew we would get through this. And it helped when things slowly started opening up. We went from no exercise to you were allowed to exercise from 6 to 9 to you're allowed to go outside for longer periods. And then, how all the restrictions became less and less. And I think that just showed you that we will get through this. It's not forever, that things would stay in that lockdown mentality.
Great. Sticking to lockdown and everything else. I see on Espresso, I think you have a thing for cookie dough, and food. Are you gonna someday maybe go into cooking, maybe learning how to cook, and doing it professionally? Can you say that?
Ah, I don't think I'll be very successful at that. I do have a thing for raw cookie dough, raw cookie batter, trying ingredients in its raw state.
Yes.
That came from my childhood. Whenever my mom baked or cooked, I always loved to try things in its raw state. Like if she made a pie, I wanted to taste the pastry raw. If she made cookies, I wanted to taste the batter raw. And I feel like I'm quite good at being able to determine whether a certain batter is going to taste good in its cooked form based on its raw ingredients. I think in terms of my cooking style, being able to make that a profession, I don't think I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses, and that's definitely a weakness. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't do that. But yeah, if I can help simplify meals for people, or cooking for one, I think then that would be a target market to tap into. But for now, no, I'm the worst person to ask. If it wasn't for lockdown, I probably would still have ordered all of my meals off an app. Lockdown forced me to go grocery shop and actually cook for myself.
All right. You dropped a bombshell. When I was doing research, I saw a clip. No, I had a clip. You dropped a bombshell on your mom, that you are living with your partner. Did you manage to? How did you manage the situation, and did you manage to tell your dad? And how did you handle it?
So yes, we moved in together quite some time before I told my mom. And I think everyone else around me knew we were living together, but for some reason I never told my parents. And I think for a large part was I just didn't want them to burst my happy bubble.
Yes.
But yeah, I eventually just plucked off the band-aid, told her while on radio, and I asked her to play the clip for my dad. And that's how he found out that me and my boyfriend were living together.
Oh, wow. And how did he handle that?
No, they love him. So all was good.
Awesome stuff. When you're not on radio and when you're on TV, what do you get up to? What is your day away from media and everything else?
So weekends is a bit different because a lot of my friends have normal working hour jobs. So Monday to Friday, if I have time to myself, I really try and do something for myself, be it take a nap, be it sort out my laundry, be it, meal prep, grocery shop, all the basic things that I need to do. I try and do that. I do have a lot of meetings in between. People love meetings. People, I don't know why they don't like Zooms. I don't know why they don't like phone calls. Everyone wants to meet with you in person. So I have an unusual amount of meetings during radio and TV. But then on weekends, I get to actually have a little bit more fun. I see my friends. We get to, be outside, anything that, because you're in a studio in the TV studios, you're in a studio at radio. So the minute I can be outside, I'm at my happy. Whether it is going for a run or going to a market, going for a hike, just being outside is my happy place. So that's what I get to do on weekends. If I had more friends that were free during the times I'm free, I think I would have done it a bit more. I just don't like doing those things by myself.
Oh, you like involving other people, friends and family.
Yeah.
And
connecting with people, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of connecting with people, are you involved in any charity organizations?
Excuse me. Not in the past, I was directly linked to certain organizations as their ambassador. It's more on an ad hoc basis right now. So generally when a charity needs some help, I assist where I can. But yeah, I mean, as far as things go, I'm an ambassador for the Red Cross Children's Hospital. And so I've been involved with whenever there's been a fundraising element, I try and get involved there. And yeah, I think, whenever a charity has reached out with regards to, hey, Zoe, this is what we're working on now, we would love your assistance, and I'm in a position to help, i.e. it doesn't clash with radio and TV, I always put my weight behind it.
You on TV, you're on radio, you're doing clothes now. What else? What is your future plans? What else do you want to achieve? What else do you want to do?
So I actually did my first movie in 2021. And it hasn't launched yet. They haven't revealed any trailers. So I will only, once that movie launches, will I be able to say I'm also an actress. But for now, we'll have to wait till that movie comes out. That is something I would love to explore a little bit more. Maybe see if I can do an English movie, because this was predominantly Afrikaans acting. I would like to do a bit more English work, and yeah, I'm quite open to anything. So anything that requires creativity, that's something I want to get involved with. I don't think I could ever do a 9 to 5
anymore.
I've never done a 9 to 5.
Definitely won't be able to handle it. Just to close it up, what can you say to a young girl or a boy that wants to pursue media as a career?
If I can encourage anyone to pursue a career in media, is I think you need to find that thing that makes you excited. Yes. So if you love language, pursue that wholeheartedly. If you love numbers, pursue that wholeheartedly. If you're a dancer, if you love finance, whatever it is that you are passionate about, go and explore that, because that is something you can bring to media. You can't study to be a presenter, but you can study yourself. You can become excellent in the things you are passionate about, or the craft you are. I always say, whatever you do, you can bring to media. And so often people just want to be a presenter, but there needs to be a little bit more substance behind you in order to be a presenter. So for anyone interested in getting into the media field, figure out what it is that you're passionate about. You need to explore hobbies. You need to explore activities. You need to figure out, read books and become knowledgeable or excited and required. Whereas Carl, my co-host on radio, he studied psychology, and he's brought that to radio, where, for example, on a Monday after 6 o'clock, we have a feature called Switch the Hits at 6. And this is the psychology edition. And he uses his experience in psychology, and he uses radio to merge the two. So what we do with psychology is, if you have a problem, you tell us about it, and he fixes it or prescribes a song for you to make you feel better. And that's just a simplistic version of how you can bring everything else that you're passionate about to radio.
Zoe, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for sharing your life story. I'm hoping to do part 2 with you, the movie being out and other stuff as well.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Have a lovely day further. Thank you.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Darky Magazine.